Hello, comrades, and welcome back to Ushanka Show. Здравствуйте, дорогие товарищи. So a couple days ago, I posted on YouTube a picture of my letter that I wrote around 1980, 1981. So I was about 9, 10-year-old kid. And if you follow my channel, you should know by now that I went to that village in northern Ukraine every summer since I was a baby. And I spent there every summer, basically from 1972 all the way till 1995. And quite a few people commented that I had a very nice cursive handwriting, and also they wanted to know what was this letter about, so I decided I'm going to make a separate video on this topic. And I also want to remind everyone who was impressed with my handwriting, you're looking at the handwriting of the kid who was switched from the left hand to the right hand. So this is the cursive of Soviet student who was born lefty, but in the first grade I was forced to switch to the right hand. So today we're going to talk also about this tradition of switching kids from left to right hand in the Soviet schools. My special thanks и огромное спасибо to all my supporters on patreon.com. Thank you, comrades. It's greatly appreciated. But first of all, I would like to make a public announcement that I personally have no clue how switching from left to right hand affects children's brain. I'm not a specialist, I'm just a victim. It worked out just fine for me. I'm actually happy that I was switched from left to right hand because I actually can write with both hands. I can draw with both hands, and it's really helpful. So in the Soviet Union, kids learned cursive writing from the very first grade, so at the age of 7. And I believe I already showed, I still got that notepad that I was learning how to write cursive. And it's kind of strange because I recall using ink pen, but looking at my notebook, it all looks like it's a ball pen. But this is the kid who was lefty, and I was forced to switch to right hand, and it's already looks pretty decent handwriting here. So my teacher actually asked my parents to help with switching. I think I mentioned that many times. So my mother was sitting by me every time I was doing homework with a ruler. We had these small wooden rulers, and every time I tried to switch a pen to left hand, she'll give me a gentle smack. So I switched back to the right hand. When I researched this topic, because I'm not the only one who was lefty switched to right, there's a lot of people mentioned that teachers actually are doing the same. They use the ruler, walk alone, and smacking children's hands, the one that switched to the left hand. I don't recall that. I don't think it was happening in my school, but of course maybe early in 50s or 60s in the village schools, those teachers were way more stricter, especially when you use ink pen. You can smudge everything right away that you write because, we write from left to right, so it's kind of natural way to write with the right hand. And it looks like switching from left to right was going on in Soviet schools all the way till 1986, but then I guess they did some psychological studies and they found out that it really not a good idea. A lot of kids became depressed. They didn't feel like they are normal. Their grades fell, stuff like that. So in 1986, they canceled this practice of switching from left to right. Personally, I don't think it affected me any other way besides, it's just more convenient to be able to write with the right hand. In fact, it looks really odd to me to see people who write with the left hand because they keep the pen in such an awkward angle. And that's the first time I noticed a lot of people writing this way is in America when I came in 1995 because, my generation and prior generations in the Soviet Union, everyone was switched. So when I see like Obama was famous, signing executive orders with his whole hand crooked, I was like, oh my goodness, that poor bastard. In the same time, I'm still doing a lot of things with my left hand. Like I can't throw ball or rocks really well with my right hand. I do everything with my left. My left hand is way stronger. Like I use hammer with my left hand. So my left arm, my left side is more like dominant still. But I write with the right hand. but I can switch to left hand when it's convenient. For example, if I hold the clipboard, I find it more convenient to write with my left hand while I'm holding clipboard with my right. It's just weird. So I'm switching back and forth quite easily. As I said, it doesn't bother me whatsoever. Okay, so now back to the main topic of this video. Let's read my letter that I wrote to my parents to Kiev in about 1981-82. Привет из Жоведи. Greetings from Zhoved, which is the name of the village. Здравствуйте, папа и мама. Hello, father and mother. Письмо ваше получил. I received your letter. Папа, купи мне лекарства от комаров и мошек. Dad, buy me some kind of medicine from mosquitoes and bugs. А то у меня ноги опухли, because my legs got swollen. So, I was outside all the time, and then of course we had mosquitoes sneaking into our house, so they'll bite my legs so much that they were always red and swollen, so I was looking for something to put on my feet to protect from mosquitoes. Кашлять я почти перестал. I almost stopped coughing, so I guess I had a cold. Гимнастику я делаю и не читаю. I perform gymnastics and I don't read. So here we need to talk about it a little bit. So from early years, when I went to school, started having a problem with my back because I was a pretty tall kid. So I had a scoliosis. I think I said it correctly. So my spine is kind of make like this S shape a little bit. So I was supposed to do special gymnastics to improve my spinal cord. And another interesting comment says, Я не читаю, I don't read. Because my eyesight started dropping drastically when I went to school, it's pretty much my mom said I need to minimize my reading so I don't make my eyesight worse. So this is why I report to her that I don't read. Usually, you force kids to read. In this case, my parents were watching because I love to read. So they were trying to minimize my reading so I can protect my eyesight. Погода сейчас отличная, а раньше шли дожди. In the word раньше, you see I underscore the letter sh, because when you write in cursive, letters T and sh, te и sh, they look really similar. So if you want to kind of make sure that people understand correctly, you underscore on the bottom if it's a letter sh, or you underscore on the top if it's a letter t. So here I'm saying that the weather right now is great, but before it was raining. And this is my recollection of summers in the northern Ukraine. That was pretty miserable. We had a lot of rain, a lot of cold weather, not much sun, and now it's totally changed. I mean, I go to visit my mom, and it's very hot and very dry all summer long. Ракету мы с Димкой отремонтировали, но она течет. There's another interesting sentence. So my grandparents used to take piglets to the market to sell. So we had this wooden box that they used to transport piglets. And when they didn't need it anymore, they allowed me to use it for my a little shelter or like little house. So I called it raketa, so I pretended like it's a spaceship and I'm flying. So I had a little door, you crawl inside. And so that's what I'm talking about, raketa, rocket. And Dimka is a friend of mine that we spend every summer together. He also came from town. So my mother, as well as his mother, they left the village, moved to towns. And then we came to stay with grandparents every summer. So I was telling them that we fixed up our rocket, but it still has some problems with water while it's raining, so it's still leaking. Гуляем мы на пашне, точнее на вербах. So here I'm telling my parents that I play with my friends this area that used to be called Pashnya, and more precisely on the pussy willow trees. So we had 3 big willow trees that got cut down but they left the tall stumps, so of course the new growth came out, and that's what we like to climb. So that was our like a it wasn't a tree house, but that's the place we like to hang out. So that's what I'm talking, that we play on the willow trees. 11 числа мы пойдем в лес с дроздихой. You could tell that it's kid writing because I'm saying on 11th, but I don't say is that July or August or June. So I would assume it's probably July. So we were planning to go. So my grandma, I guess, me, and the lady named Drazdicha. So that was kind of like a friends of my grandparents. And the lady, everyone had a nickname based on their last name, I think. The last name was Drozd, so she was female, so she was Drozdicha. So we probably were planning to go to the forest to pick some wild berries or wild strawberries or wild blueberries. Торф, наверное, не удастся копать. This is very interesting. So here I'm saying that we probably won't be able to dig for peat, P-E-A-T. So, some dry swamps, you can dig and you cut these bricks of peat and then you dry it up and you can burn it in the winter instead of firewood. So we used to do it. I recall helping a little bit my grandparents with parents. Kind of nasty job because you dig the hole, and of course that hole is still water on the bottom. You need to wear rubber boots, and then you have the special tool that you cut into the peat and make this kind of like a bricks, and then they soggy wet, and you place them up on a dry spot in the sun to let them dry. So here I'm claiming that we won't be able to do that this year. And it's interesting, I also misspelled the word не удастся. Really bad. So here I explain why we can't dig for peat. Все лавы позаплывали водой, и люди позанимали места. So I guess that hole that you dig for peat called lava. So when it was raining, I guess it's flooded all these holes. So лавы позаплывали водой. So all lavas got flooded and people took the best spots. So I guess you need to get permission from a collective farm to dig for peat, and then people went before us and they took all the best spots, so we won't be able to do anything for the peat for the winter. Кушаю хорошо. Дед и бабушка чувствуют себя хорошо. So I eat good, I eat well, and grandpa and grandma feel themselves well too. Отдыхаю хорошо, но бывает и нет, потому что много этих полосатиков, колорадов. I'm having a good time, I rest well, but sometimes I don't rest well because there is a lot of these полосатики. So I call Colorado potato bugs, we call them Koloradski жук. So these potato bugs, they're stripy, so I call them stripers, I guess, полосатики. And if you maybe remember my stories, Grandpa used to pay me if I filled the mayo glass jar full of those bugs. He gave me 10 kopecks, and that's it'll take a good hour, maybe two, to fill that jar. So that's what I'm saying. Sometimes I don't rest well because I have to work, spend a lot of time in the garden, picking up those bugs so I can make some money. And help, of course, grandparents to protect their potato plants. Сейчас очень тепло, можно загорать. Right now it's very warm and you can get some tan. So once again, it was not that warm back in the day in northern Ukraine. It was hard to get decent sunshine and warm weather. It's changed a lot since then. Писать больше нечего. I have nothing to write about. До свидания. Goodbye. Жду ответа. Waiting for your reply. Sergey. And right next to my name, Sergey, I actually already designed my signature. So that's quite impressive. So we're talking maybe second, third grade. A kid already, I designed my signature. PSN, so that's my initials for my last name, my first name, and my paternal name. And on the back of that letter, I drew a little picture using same red ball pen. So we have a mail truck, says Почта, driving, and the sign says Kiev. And on the top there's two birds. Actually, I was very proud I came up with this design, how it's easy to draw flying birds. So I got two of those. And below there's that Colorado potato bug, which I wrote Palasatic, the striper. That was the biggest problem for any villagers in Ukraine and Belarus and Russia. Those potato bugs they could destroy the whole crop, because this adult bugs not that bad, but when they lay eggs and the young bugs come out and they look different, they're like orange or red color, nasty looking things, and those are so hungry they can eat up the plant, or you have just sticks left. Every leaves will be gone, of course, then you have small potatoes. So they were always a real nightmare to fight the potato bugs. Well, comrades, it's all I got for you today. Please don't forget to like this video, share with your friends, and we'll talk to you soon. До свидания. Goodbye. Hey, by the way, cool merch for cool comrades is available at the Ushanka store at teespring.com. Just a friendly reminder that my book American Diaries is available on amazon.com, or shoot me an email if you would like to have a signed copy. Thank you. And if you love my channel and would like to show your support, please click on the link below this video and become the patron of the Ushanka Show. For as little as $1, you can help us grow and create the new, interesting videos about the life